All right, number 8. So I bought both of these. These are the ones that I talked about in the cul-de-sacs. I'll go with this one first, though. So we'll do 909 Oberlin Court. 909 Oberlin Court was a realtor purchase, again, kind of thing. So it was a reference. My mom does hair here in town. She's a beautician here in Bakersfield. So she talks to a bunch of people. Anyways, she had a client that wanted to sell their property, and they were going to move to Texas. I remember they were moving to Texas. So he wanted to get rid of his property, but as a realtor, I went to go represent him. So I went over there to go list his property. And when I sat down to talk with him in the living room, I remember we're sitting there talking, and he was very proud of this coffee machine he had. I remember it was huge. It was like something you'd see at Starbucks. It was a big old coffee machine. Very proud of it. He made me a cup, and just coffee. I love coffee, but it was just like any other coffee. But he was very proud of it. Anyways, I bought his property. I talked to him about doing a sub 2. He wanted to sell the property. He didn't know. He just wanted to get out of the deal. He didn't really care. He just wanted to be done with it. But I talked to him about doing a sub 2 deal, and I think that one was about 160,000, 180,000. But he did have a HELOC on the property, so I was nervous about that. If you're not familiar with a HELOC, it's just when someone can borrow money on their house at any time. It's basically like an open loan that you get from the lender. And he had one on the property, so I was trying to figure out to make sure that he couldn't do that and constantly borrow money on the property and eat up the equity that I was going to get after, signing the deed over to me. So anyways, I found out that you have to have a letter drawn up by the lender that states that the HELOC is closed. And that's what I did. So we contacted the lender, got that letter, make sure the HELOC was closed and he can no longer borrow upon that property. So then I knew what the final numbers were. So the first mortgage, which I was taking over, and then the HELOC, which I was going to continue to make payments on, but he can no longer borrow money on the property for that HELOC. So that's what I did. I made the payments on the first one, I made the payments on the second one, and then I did a rent to own on it. I remember, this particular one, I think actually I only got 10,000 down. I advertised it at 15, 20,000, but I was just wanting to move it, and the guy negotiated with me, and I think he was going to pay it off really quick is what he wanted to do, and he had 10,000, and I said, you know what, let's do it. I was just happy to get it out of my hair and get it done. So he gave me 10,000 down and made payments, and he ended up defaulting. He did. I got it back. But it was a home run. I think this was one of my first ones where I made like 80,000 on the sale. So once I got the property back, I had some money, I fixed it up, and I turned around and sold it as a normal traditional sale, and I cleared about 80,000 on that deal, which was pretty awesome. The cool thing was, by doing the rent to own advertising when I bought this one, I put the sign out, and the one next door, 908 Oberlin, the owner on that one called me during that time, and he just asked me some questions about what I was doing with the property next door and if I was interested in maybe buying his, but I think he had a tenant in there and he didn't really want to sell it at that time. But we ended up striking a deal a year later. So he called me up a year later and we did the deal. So I ended up purchasing the one next door. I'll give some more detail on that one on the next video, just to make that number 8 video. So anyways, that's how I purchased 909 Oberlin Court in Bakersfield, also by Bakersfield College, which is a community college over there. Always hustling, Couch Hustler.